1, go now. Hello there, everybody, this is General Snivy, and welcome back to the Ratchet Clank Going Commando playthrough. This is going to be the final play session of said game, and before we begin, I will mention that I did end up beating that frickin' event, which was wrench only without getting hit. That was a major bitch and a half. And as promised, I did make a regular video of me doing it. So, I'm going to go ahead and play you all that attempt right now.
Choose your battle.
So anyway, this particular event, if you were here for the last stream, you should know really well how much this freaking event was a massive pain. And even playing off screen on my own and recording this, it too was a pain. It was still as much of a pain as it was before. And making this entire recording took me about an hour and 10 minutes to finally beat this damn event. There were a lot of attempts, and like about as many as I did throughout the entire freaking live stream. It was that freaking many. Well, granted, the entire 1 hour and 10 minutes wasn't just me trying to beat the event. A couple of times I decided to say screw it and just go practice fighting Chainblade using only my wrench. So I did that, and I think I came up with a pretty good strategy of fighting Chainblade. And throughout this event, I was employing another strategy of my own, and that is keeping my distance as much as possible unless the enemies completely crowd up on me, in which case I try to make tracks as much as I possibly can. As for this particular round, honestly I feel like I got pretty lucky for the round, because I almost jumped into that freaking spinning blade. That wouldn't have been good. We don't need any skewered ratchet there. No, we don't. Time for round 6. And as you can see here, I got pretty lucky with some of the spawn points at which the enemies came out from. Sometimes it's a better idea to just toss enemies outside the ring and destroy them instantaneously, as opposed to just throwing your wrench and just praying that it actually hits them. With the fully upgraded wrench, most enemies are taken out with just 2 regular swings of the wrench. However, I feel like that's one swing too many for pretty much everyone. The only time where it would only take 1 hit is if you do a jump strike. And jump striking the enemies really is the best way to go for most of the enemies. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, and that is, number 1, those flamethrower enemies are kind of a crapshoot, and it's like a 50-50 shot. If you happen to jump at them, there's like a chance where the flame can end up hitting you, thus resulting in the event being an instant failure. As for the blue guys with the chainsaws, only jump strike them if they're separated from their friends. If they're too close to another enemy or even one of their friends, then you're going to be in trouble. Now, for fighting Chainblade, your first priority is to get rid of the chain ball. Get rid of those blade balls of death. Get rid of them, otherwise they're going to be a huge pest. Second strategy is to stay in the middle of the arena to minimize your chances of running into a stage hazard. Second thing is you have to get up close and personal and do nothing but jump strikes against Chainblade. What I'm doing here is waiting for Chainblade to do his ground sweeping attack and then going for the strike. Go for 1 or 2 strikes, no more than 2. You can't really get away with 3 very often unless you get extremely lucky, due to the fact that Chainblade's hitbox is relatively large. Granted, he is a large character. And sometimes you can get stuck within Chainblade's bulge. And that can really mess you up. And sometimes you can end up getting Chainblade stuck in this weird glitch where he just floats in place. In which case, take advantage of this and start jump striking him like freaking crazy. Afterwards, you should be able to drain enough health to take him down completely. And bada bing, bada boom. Chainblade is defeated, the event is complete, without taking a single hit, flawless victory. Fatality. The end. I win. That's that. And as you can see, I decided to celebrate by dancing. I was thinking of maybe inserting like the Kirby Celebration music from one of those games, but I decided against it for obvious reasons. And with that in mind, now we're ready to start. We're ready to start fresh, and we're ready to play. We're ready to dance the frickin' night away. For the most part. Also, I decided to throw on the Ratchet and the tuxedo cheat just because I wanted to. I figured this would be a more than appropriate outfit for the finale stream of this game. So, with that in mind, since everything else has been completed for the most part, there is still the matter of showing off the Insomniac Museum, but we still have to go through the Protopet Factory first until we reach the original Protopet. When we reach the original Protopet, that is when we can unleash all kinds of hell. Well, actually, no. That's when we can make our leave and head to the Insomniac Museum. And upon looking at the special screen, upon unlocking this planet in particular, you don't even need to complete it. Well, you do have to complete it on your first playthrough, but upon re-unlocking this planet, all the other options, including the shortcuts, have all opened up and are now unlocked. So all the extra movies and stuff of that nature, they're now available for our viewing. So that is sweet. We don't need to worry so much about having to complete this factory, but I'm going to do it for the sake of completionism. I'm not necessarily the completionist, but I'm just saying, I'm someone who, wait. Isn't there supposed to be, something here? Okay, that teleporter is inactive, and so is this one. I should be able to slingshot my way across. Oh, right. Right, I forgot. I gotta hypnotize the bots before I can do that. Also, while you're doing the whole wrench-only event, take off your charge boots and just put on the gravity boots. You'll save yourself a lot of pain for later. That much I can guarantee. And the reason is because there is always the possibility of having to accidentally activate your charge boots when you mean to throw your wrench, and instead of throwing it, you're throwing yourself straight into a stage hazard and thus ending your run. That is something that we do not want, or did not want. I know that's happened to me at least a few times during the stream in the last play session, which was super freaking annoying. But hey, we're past that now. That god-awful event is completed, and we don't have to worry about it ever again. It's all over. We no longer have to worry about it. Yay! Thank God Almighty. Oh, hi there. How you doing? Didn't expect that. But anyway, off we go. Off we go to the factory of Great Evil. The factory where the original prototype is located and where the rest of them are being mass-produced. Ow. Really, game? Didn't quite mean to do that, but that'll work. Okay. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to purchase the last mega weapon, but really, that doesn't matter at this point. Upon unlocking the last planet, everything else is opened up, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. I mean, unlocking it at this point now would just be a pure bonus. If we're able to even just purchase all the weapons, I'll be satisfied. Blech. I'll be more than satisfied. As far as navigating through this planet again is concerned, the amount of resistance that we're going to face it's not been increased per se, but it is pretty much the same as it was before, so expect a lot of heavy resistance and heavy hitters. I'm just saying. More Clank Zapper ammo. Not exactly something I really need, to be honest with you, but even so. Alright. Time for this fun little thing again. And of course, just like before, hold fire button until you win. Pretty much. And if you're running really low on time, like down to the last couple of seconds, like here, damn. That's not good. I destroyed one of the robots by accident. If you're running low on time, retreat and go to another bot and hypnotize it before time runs out. Otherwise, you'll have to redo this entire gauntlet of enemies as they continue to spawn over and over again. I think I can make it to the switch. Got it! Just in time. And I think now all I have to do is just kill the last couple of enemies, and then I should be good to go. Right? I think I can just jump across. Then again, I don't think I can. Okay. Where do I go from here? Navigating through this part of the factory has always been really confusing to me. I never quite... Oh, of course. I had to go back the way I came. Not exactly as straightforward as I would like, but oh well. Okay, anything else worth purchasing here? Nope. We're good to go. Perfect. I know today is a really, really odd day to be live streaming, and I normally do not live stream on Wednesdays. But I'm making an exception for today because the way the last live stream ended, I wanted to make up for the lackluster conclusion. I mean, I pretty much rage quit and gave up for the most part, but really, I just needed a break. I really did. I was like losing my freaking mind, and if you were there for the ending of the last stream, My lord, you practically heard every curse word in the dictionary being shouted. But not really, but even so, a good chunk of them. And yet still the video remains monetized, knock on wood. Just saying. Perhaps the reason why is just due to the fact that it comes from anger and not like general speech. You know what I mean? But anyway, onward to today's big thing, and that is finishing up the game completely once and for all. That way we can just end this game on a massive high note. And depending on how long this stream goes on for, I may end up playing something else today, but we'll have to wait and see. If it goes on for about 2 hours, then I may just call it a day and not worry about it. But if I do end up completing the game, let's say in an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, or even less, then what I'll do is maybe play something else, like I said. Also, fun fact for today, I am using the Elgato HD60 Pro again. I hooked it up to see if it could possibly work, unlike last time, which somehow it only gave me like a black screen upon capture or doing anything at all whatsoever. Here, I hooked it up today and the issue just simply fixed itself. My only guess as to why that worked so easily was due to the fact that I shut down my computer for like several hours. Usually when I go to bed, I shut down my computer because, well, I'm not using it. The only time I wouldn't do that is if I'm uploading, say, videos to my backup channel. Oops. Missed. Jeez, freaking die when I shoot you. I knew there was someone else left. Now you dead. Whew. Okay, back to what I was saying before. Elgato HD60 Pro is working again. The issue just resolved itself for the most part. Didn't really have to intervene all that much. The only thing I had to really do was simply shut down the computer. Shut it down and everything was hunky-dory. Also, why the hell did I do that? Running kind of low on health here. Oh, really? I thought I had plenty of cover. Apparently not. Well, anyway, at least we're almost through this entire gauntlet. There's not too much left to go. And afterwards, we'll be heading off to the races. The more fun parts of the game. I love doing that. It's kind of like playing Shipment on Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Just sit at an exact spawn point and get free kills. It's the cheapest way of getting kills, and honestly, it makes you... It turns a man into a boy. Like a little boy. That's like the cheapest way of getting a kill off of someone. Also, I have this tingling feeling in my frickin' finger. There we go. That's about better, I hope. There we go. Now he's dead. Damn! That took a lot more hits than I would have liked. That's for sure. Okay, time for one more little puzzle. There we go. Got it done on the first try. And just like before, unfreeze the water, then refreeze it. Because we all know that Protopets cannot swim, kind of like as if they're Sonic the frickin' Hedgehog. But, anywho, zap. Oh great, more of these. I'm surprised that even worked. Well, damn. I'm about out of ammo for pretty much all my weapons. The only exception being, of course, maybe the Rhino. Let's go for it. YOLO! And win. I don't think the Zodiac is really all that good against the tanks, though I never actually tried using it against them. But to be quite frank, the Rhino is way more effective anyway. It delivers immediate results, unlike the Zodiac, which actually has a charge-up time. I'm just saying. And done. Still need quite a lot of bolts yet. Oh, of course. Another one of these. Thankfully, though, I think this is the last one. And done. Whew. Okay. Also, we don't need to worry about that grind rail ever again. Reason? Because we've already collected the platinum bolt that was here, and there's nothing really to worry about whatsoever. Hello, Protopets. Goodbye, Protopets. Nobody missed you. Nobody liked you anyway. So what does it even matter? Boom, baby. Man, I love that. Oh, great, more. Honestly, I thought I shot out the mine guns already. Guess not. This would be a pretty good time to show off the Zodiac, just so you can clear out all the enemies all at once, but honestly, I think some of your other weapons that you have up your arsenal work out way better. Like this. There we go. And that's that. Oh, of course. Still got a few more enemies to worry about here. And excuse me. Oh, you're still coming? That was not expected, that's for sure. Okay, now they're done. Thank God. Jeez, that was annoying. Okay, and with that, we've made it to the boss arena where the original Protopet's located. Still don't have enough bolts, unfortunately, to purchase the last mega weapon, but again, that doesn't really matter at this point now. What matters now is showing off one last major thing. And I figured now is a good time to do it. Let's go to the Insomniac Museum. We're going to go there the fun way as opposed to taking the shortcut option. And the reason for that is because this way is fun. This way is funner. You could also take the transporter as well, but I don't think that transporter itself is really open. Plus, this way's faster. It's way faster than doing it the quote-unquote legitimate way. But hey, I'm just saying. Alright. How do you get there the fun way? Well, you take this grind rail. Oh, damn it. And not fall to your doom like an idiot. Instead, you take this until you reach a certain point. Eventually, you want to intentionally ram yourself against a wall and then float your way down. And that wall is right here. And there we go. Just float your way down. And you can get yourself on this glitched part of the city. Well, it's not really glitched per se, because most of the area is still solid. However, you're not really intended to go over here whatsoever. But you can get here so easily, and that's what makes it fun. Whoa. Just be careful that, because some parts of the geometry may not even exist. Just due to the fact that you're not supposed to even be here. Not on this part, anyway. And of course we go over here, and eventually we will fall through the ground. Then around here, we jump. And in order to get the camera back, just push and hold L1 to ADS for a second. Afterwards, we're here. We're at the transport area where the transporter on the fountain would take us normally. And if we reach the teleporter on the back and take it, we'll be going to the Insomniac Museum. But access to said place is not going to be so easily granted, because heavy resistance is here. Ugh. The resistance here is really, really heavy. And it takes a lot of firepower to take them all out. And there are a lot of enemies that just pour out of all the transporting locations here. Sometimes it may even consider to be a better idea just to YOLO and just go for it. Go for it. And upon reaching here, you can use the transporter over here on the back to return to your ship at any time. I would not recommend using that, because really, this is why we're here. To the Insomniac Museum! And the Insomniac Museum is on planet Burbank, and it looks a lot like planet Earth. Welcome everyone to the Insomniac Museum. And with that, we get ourselves a trophy for accessing the museum, and upon collecting that, that was the very last trophy, so we got the platinum. There we go.
This is Mike Stout. I'm a designer at Insomniac Games. Hi, welcome to the Insomniac Museum. Here you'll see some of the great things that never quite made it into the game, and you'll learn a little bit about life here at Insomniac Games.
Wow. Awesome. Also, fun fact, this Insomniac Museum is supposed to be like a mirror representation of the actual company that's located in Burbank or something, due to the planet name. I don't know.
Hello, my name is Brian Allgeier, the design director at Insomniac Games. These floating spherical monstrosities are the elusive gravity spheres, which were originally going to be included in Silver City. They proved to be too difficult, and a bit nauseating, to be included. They are preserved here for posterity. Swing shot up to try running around one, and then swing shot again to get off the sphere.
Okay, sounds fun. Let's go. Let's give it a shot. We'll see why this feature never actually made it into the game. Yeah, this kind of turned into Super Ratchet Galaxy. Super Ratchet Galaxy before Super Mario Galaxy. Who knew? But anywho, that's a pretty nice feature. And I could definitely see why it was not included within Silver City. It would have been really difficult to implement anyway. Oh, hello, what's this?
Hi there, my name's Tim Trespass. I'm a gameplay programmer here at Insomniac Games. I'm a Leo from Washington, D.C. I like anime and shiny objects. This car was originally going to be included in the battle with the giant robot on Snivlac. Unfortunately, its lack of heavy weaponry proved its bane. It now calls the Insomniac Museum its home.
Cool. And we can even drive the thing too. And as you can see, there's not really much of anything associated with the vehicle whatsoever. It looks like it should have a couple of cannons, but oddly enough, it doesn't. You can drive this all around the Insomniac Museum if you wish to do so. And the UI is also really weird when it comes to driving this thing. Most likely it's just due to the fact that it only was a part of the planning and concept stages or something. Yet they were able to implement it into the game via the Insomniac Museum. I gotta say, that is a really nice, nice way to pay homage to something that didn't quite make it into the game. Also, what the heck is that?
Hiya! This is Oliver Wade, the animation director here at Insomniac Games. The three-headed Hydra was a big cut from Ratchet and Clank 1. It was originally intended as a mini-boss on Pokitaru. Ratchet battled this beast whilst riding a boat through blowfish-infested waters. However, it didn't end up being that much fun at all.
Huh.
Hiya! This is Oliver
Well, that was
Wade,
interesting.
the animation director here at Insomniac Games.
And also, you can just skip out of those messages entirely just by pushing the triangle button if you so desire. As far as the beast is concerned, it has no collision detection, as expected, because, well, this is a museum of cut content, and sometimes these things just don't leave the concept stages or leave the full developmental stages whatsoever. And so, if you run upon this wall here, you can get a pretty good look at the beast. And, sure, it's a three-headed Hydra, but really, is it really all that threatening looking? To be quite frank, it looks kind of cute and not so menacing. But, anyway, that was fun. I wonder what else this museum has to offer. And really, you can explore this entire museum to your heart's content. Even if you set your PS3 or PS2's internal clock to 3 a.m., you can stay here as long as you want, so long as you're here. However, upon the clock reaching 4 a.m. and you exit, you won't be able to come back again until you reset the clock to 3 a.m. Or if you reach the Insomniac Museum via the glitch way, aka the fun way, or the legitimate way, via the transporter or 100% completion.
My name is Chris Town, and I'm a tester here at Insomniac Games. Here at Insomniac, we're so hopped up on caffeine that we bounce off the walls! You can do the same with these gravity ramps.
Cool. Whee! I'm bouncing off the walls, quite literally. That's fun. It is quite fun to just bounce around on the things such as those. Okay, where's the... There it is. There's definitely more to this museum than meets the eye, and I'm going to try to explore all that there is for the museum. Oh, hello. This looks like a testing facility of sorts.
Hi, my name is Tony Garcia, and I'm a programmer at Insomniac Games. This little demonstration allows you to create your own shot effect. Using the magic of debug technology, you can edit the shot's size and color, and then watch the bandit shoot it at the blockman. Don't feel too sorry for the blockman, though. He's evil.
Fun. Okay. Cool, let's try making our own effect. L2 and R2 makes your own effect. I'm pushing the buttons and... Oh, I have to push both. L2 and R2 at the same time. Interesting. The thing is, this dial is very, very sensitive. Ooh, trippy. The dial is sensitive, so you need to do little itty-bitty taps in order to navigate through this properly. There are all kinds of different combinations I just noticed. Wow, I like that one. Oh yeah, I love that rainbow. How many are there for this? 60. I think I'm gonna go for something like this. No, this. And texture and length. I think you can adjust how far the length of the blast is. Tail length. I think it does the same sort of thing. Texture rot. I don't know what that is. But it is something to mess around with, and it's quite nice to see. Oh, so this is like how big the tip is. Makes sense. Inner width. Perfect. And here you can edit the colors of the frickin' you can edit the effect's colors, and don't worry, the effect itself cannot hurt you. It's just merely a test. And you can watch as this bad guy shoots this block guy over here. Again. Again, the shot doesn't hurt you, thank God. And it also doesn't decrease your bolt multiplier either, so you don't need to worry about that. Ooh, what's this?
Tony Garcia here. This wonder of an explosion was created especially for Ratchet & Clank 2. Its extreme versatility allowed it to creep into many different places in the game. You'll even see it in the electrolyzer puzzles. Stand on the blue pad to make your own explosions.
Ooh, so this allows you to make your own explosion effect. So that is awesome. I think I'm going to leave it as is, because we've already explored quite a lot when it comes to that thing over there. Oh, this looks awesome. What is this?
My name's Corey Stockton, and I'm a designer here at Insomniac Games. You may recognize this drill from Ratchet & Clank 1. It was held by a large construction worker who gives you a lump of raritanium. This is originally a weapon called the Revolverator. Ratchet would strike enemies with it and then spin them over his head. Corey here. You may recognize this drill from Ratchet & Clank 1. It was held by a large construction worker who gives you a lump of raritanium. This is originally a weapon called the Revolverator.
Anyway, the reason why this weapon was cut from the original Ratchet & Clank was due to the fact that it would require additional manpower and resources, and it would just leave Ratchet open for attack for far too long. So overall, it probably wasn't a fun weapon to use, even by the Insomniac staff, so the weapon was cut in the original Ratchet & Clank, and so they brought it here within the Insomniac Museum, within Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. Gotta say, I love the little homage to that, and it's quite interesting to learn about all these wonderful pieces of cut content between the original Ratchet & Clank and Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. Speaking of which, looks like there's something else over here. A couple of things, actually.
Hello, this is Pedro Hastinas. I'm a gameplay programmer at Insomniac Games. This little widget was used to test our new chunk system. We lovingly call it the corn system. Notice how all the breakables in this game are much prettier? Well, that's corn working hard for you. Give it a whack and see what it does.
Okay, let's do it. Not impressed. Not impressed. But, anyway. Onward to the next thing.
Mike Stout here. Fear the random robot NPC. This robot never made it into Ratchet & Clank 1 because of the fabled Day of Poultry, when chickens swarmed over our offices and pecked the computer, holding this mechanical darling to pieces. We were able to retrieve her eventually, though.
So apparently this thing was supposed to be in the original Ratchet & Clank. I did not know that. But it is quite interesting to see. Also, I love that little excuse with the chicken invasion. Pretty funny if you think about it. Oh, hello.
Mike Stout here. Have you ever wanted to create your own infiltrator puzzle? Well, now you can. Just stand on the blue pad and play around with the values a bit. Confound your friends and amaze your enemies.
Cool. Too bad there isn't any online functionality, but you can always create your own infiltrator puzzle just for the sake of fun. You can adjust the start time, time increases, increments, and also the speed. Random speed, or no, that's random seed. You can choose a seed and choose to complete the infiltration puzzle if you so desire. Essentially, you just play around with these values, and eventually it should lead back to start. Once it does, then infiltration puzzle will be completed. So essentially, if you want to play, say, let's play a game with a local friend who's sitting on the couch next to you. You want to create a puzzle for them to solve and see if they can solve it. Well, adjust the values here, then call them back into the room, hand them the controller, and have them do the puzzle and see if they can solve it. If they can't solve it, well, you win. Just be sure you can solve it yourself, though, otherwise it's not a good puzzle. Also, here's another little vehicle. Apparently this also never made it into the game either. Ratchet looks kind of weird in this thing. Apparently this is a hovercraft of some sort. And again, it uses the same UI as the other cut hovercraft that was from earlier. I wonder if this vehicle in particular has a history behind it. I mean, it should. There's probably an Insomniac employee around here somewhere. Oh, hello. What do we have?
Hello, I'm Carl Grande, QA manager here at Insomniac Games. This gadget was originally intended for Ratchet & Clank 1. Unfortunately, it didn't make the cut, and so never saw the light of day. It now makes its home here at Insomniac Museum, gone but not forgotten.
Huh. Neat. Another cut vehicle from the original Ratchet & Clank. Interesting. Very interesting. What's this?
Chris here. This helmet was the original model for the Hologuise gadget in Ratchet & Clank 1. It was eventually changed to the handheld model you see in the finished game for reasons unknown. However, we once again suspect it was due to the squirrels with hacksaws.
Squirrels with hacksaws. And to be quite honest, I think the Hologuise, the portable one, looks better than this one. I think the original Hologuise looked really, really goofy and made Ratchet just made him into, oh, I don't know, a moving target that says, "Hi, I'm wearing a hollow guise here, kill me!" And to be quite frank, the portable one that we seen in the final game of the original Ratchet and Clank makes way more sense than it does here. But I'm just saying, it's just one of those things that didn't quite make it into the final game. But even so, still fun to mess around with. Anything up here? I'm going to say no. But at the same time, I kind of want to race around and see if I can find something here. Okay, nothing else here. Again, this is just another cut vehicle. Cut for unknown reasons, probably due to a squirrel attack or something ridiculous to that extent. It's quite funny if you think about it. Whoa, what is that?
Corey here. This monstrous robotic squid was created for one of the Ratchet and Clank 2 prototype levels. Since that level never made it into the finished game, however, neither did poor Squiddy.
Squiddy. Wonder what its real name is. Squidward? But yeah, it's not even properly textured. And of course you can walk straight through it. It probably never even made it past the concept or, yeah, it never made it past the prototype stage. So that's kind of lame. Also kind of sad. But hey, at least they made way for bigger and better things.
Tony Garcia here. Using these 3 blue pads, you can edit the 3 particle effects in the center of the room. Go ahead, play around with them. You can achieve some truly great effects this way.
Ooh, okay. And the particle effects are right here. I don't know if they affect frame rate or not, but let's give it a quick look. Ooh, pretty. Very pretty. You can even mess around with the gravity of the particle effect as well. You can even change the texture itself. Pretty nice. Unfortunately, for some reason, you can't really mess with the low SPWN timer. Not sure what that's about, but whatever. Let's take a look here. Nothing there, and nothing there. Well, it's essentially the same stuff. It's just adjusting different layers of the particle effect that you see here in the center of the room. You can play around with it if you want. Hello, what's this? Another puzzle? Okay. This one's probably going to be the hardest one yet. Dang it. Well, this is going to take me several attempts. That one I can most likely guarantee. Dang it. I think completing this puzzle will allow you to access more of the Insomniac Museum. So this is technically kind of optional, but at the same time, if you want to explore all of the Insomniac Museum, you should do this puzzle. It just takes a lot of concentration to do it. Dang it, I shouldn't have done that. This is gonna take me a while. Damn. Damn. Oh, almost had it. I shouldn't have flipped that switch there. Damn it. There we go. Whew, that was the hardest one yet. Probably the hardest puzzle to do in the entire game, but damn, is it worth it.
Hey, this is Peter again. These teleporters were originally intended to go into several of the levels. Due to time constraints, however, they were eventually cut.
Okay, let's try activating it. Wow.
Brian Allgeier here. These escalating rows of blocks were used when we were in the early stages of creating Ratchet & Clank 1. They were used to test Ratchet's jump heights and jump distances to see which would be the most fun.
Ooh, nice. And as you can see here, they're measured in meters instead of, like, say, inches or centimeters. They're inches, meters. I'm not sure what the actual conversion of this is, but I think around the 6 meter mark is when you're really pushing it for Ratchet's regular jump distance. And granted, this was supposed to be something implemented within the first game, or it was.
Brian Allgeier here. These walls, which range from narrow to wide, were used to test wall kick distances for the original Ratchet & Clank.
Neat. Let's test this one out. Wow. Cool view. And I think the wall distances are just here to test, like, how far can Ratchet jump in between one wall and another, and effectively execute a wall jump without much of an issue. Looks like you can test them all if you so desire.
Brian Allgeier here. These ramps get steeper and steeper as you go on. They were used to test how Ratchet's feet respond to different floor angles. It also helped establish that a 45-degree angle was the sharpest that Ratchet should be able to walk up.
Wow. Definitely learning a lot from this. And right here we're at 25 degrees, 30 degrees, 35, 40, and 45 degrees. How about 50? Can we go higher? Well, not without jumping. It looks like we should be able to go higher up in the tower, but unfortunately we can't go any higher than this. We can't even jump on the ramp and go any higher ourselves, so that's kind of lame. Although there is this thing. This is quite an odd looking object. I wonder what that's about. Also, secret. Okay, nothing. That was a load of nothing. I can pretty much spend all day just exploring the deepest recesses of this museum, just to see how far this rabbit hole really goes. And really, it is quite the journey and well worth the reward for not only 100% completion, but just in general discovering this place. It's a real treat within itself as well. And well worth the grind. Even if it took a freaking eternity and there were so many frustrating times throughout the entirety of the game, but even so, like I said, those frustrations were nothing in comparison to the reward that you can possibly get for completing the entire game. It's sad that something like this doesn't exist in the original Ratchet and Clank and only in Going Commando. But, anyway, it is here. It's here that you can explore what was cut from not only the original game, but also from Going Commando as well. That's a weird effect. Is that some sort of camera?
Hey, this is Peter again. This was created to test screen buffer effects. Screen buffer effects are used to create things like distortion bubbles and heat hazing. This, however, ends up looking like a hall of mirrors. Can you guess why?
Oh yeah, I can definitely guess why. It is a really nice effect. That's for sure. And for the PS2, I gotta say, that was pretty dang impressive to create an effect such as that. Also, if you hear that in the background, I apologize.
Hey, this is Peter again. This dummy was created to test the new reaction system which we added to Ratchet and Clank 2. With this system, enemies would always be sure to react appropriately to being damaged without a ton of hassle. Go ahead and hit him. He won't mind.
Okay. Funny enough, you can hit him as many times as you want, and with anything as well. I wish you can get infinite ammo as you're exploring the Insomniac Museum, but unfortunately that's not the case. And also, shooting him in the head does absolutely nothing. So don't even bother. But hey, if you want something to relieve your stress and you feel like whacking someone, there you go. That's one way of doing it. Okay, that was the particle effect. That's the drill thing. Hello, what is this?
Hey, it's Tim. This monstrosity was intended to be a boss battle fought on the jet ski gadget. Seeing as the jet ski never made it in Ratchet and Clank, however, neither did this boss. May he rest in pieces.
May he rest in pieces.
Hi, my name is Sean Whistler, and I'm a tester here at Insomniac Games. This guy was originally intended to be an enemy in the ill-fated jet ski level that never made it into Ratchet and Clank 1. A moment of silence, please, for this gentle giant, torn down in his prime.
Apparently there was supposed to be a water level within the original Ratchet and Clank. I wonder how that would have worked. It probably wouldn't have, because too much swimming, maybe. Jet skis. Weird.
Greetings, this is Oliver Wade, the animation director at Insomniac Games, doing an atrocious British accent. This is the original Gadgetron vendor from Ratchet and Clank 1. The official reason it was cut had something to do with saving memory. The real reason has a lot to do with squirrels, hacksaws, and our lawyers. I can say no more, because I am no longer able to do this accent.
Also, yeah, quite a strange looking stall for the original Gadgetron vendor. And this actually makes way more sense than the final one that we received in the first Ratchet and Clank game, but even so, most likely this was cut due to memory problems of the original PS2 hardware. And so it went with a more futuristic, hologrammy, box-like design, meaning these were cut down by quite a lot. I felt like I bit my lip. Yeah, I must have done that unknowingly by mistake at some point. Not sure when, but anywho. Still annoying to have that feeling, that ulcer on your frickin' lips. Oh, what the heck is this?
Hi, I'm Leslie Matheson. I'm a designer here at Insomniac Games. This was intended to be the water system for Ratchet & Clank. However, as even this little patch of water taxes the game engine to its limits, a modified and severely optimized form was what eventually made it into the game. To see this patch in action, press circle.
Huh.
Hi, Leslie here.
Pause it, press square. So this is the original water texture. And what was it again for the original Ratchet Clank? Yeah. And even this pushed the original PS2's hardware to its limit. This is what the water was originally going to be, like way more realistic than what it currently was. Gotta say, that's some really damn good water, but of course, because it pushed the PS2's hardware way too hard, it probably tanked the frame rate of the original game. And so they went with a more simpler design overall. Or a simpler water texture. And that was the water we saw in the original game. But hey, at least it's there for your viewing pleasure if you so wish to look at it. Okay, that was the original Gazzatron vendor. And I think that's the entirety of the Insomniac Museum for the most part. Right? No, we still got a little bit left.
Sean here. Don't worry, Ratchet. You wouldn't have had to fight this monster even if he did make it into the game. This giant bug ship was intended to act as scenery only, flying from place to place to ensure high detail on buildings, while leaving the play area open. Sean here. Don't worry, Ratchet. You wouldn't have had to fight this monster even if he did make it into the game.
Huh. So apparently this thing was supposed to just fly around and be a part of the scenery and make things look pretty. But due to time constraints, it had to be cut. Very neat. Very, very neat. Neat to see. And just to be sure I'm not missing anything else, I'm going to do another lap around the museum to see if I was able to show off everything that the museum has to offer. Afterwards, looks like I can walk up on this wall. Wow, that's pretty funny. You can walk up on it until a certain point in which the gravity boot's gravity functionality eventually releases. And there we go. I do believe that indeed is everything that the Insomniac Museum has to offer. I've shown off everything that was originally cut from the original game, and even learned quite a lot from even the original Ratchet & Clank during its development. So, that's nice. That's nice to know, and definitely will take that knowledge to the bank and more or less share it with the world. Just like we did here today. We did it live. Live on Twitch. And like I said, if you want to leave the Insomniac Museum at any time, just return to the teleporter and push triangle to return to your ship. And again, if you want to return to the Insomniac Museum, if you feel like you missed something, or if you just want to mess around in there, you can always go back to the teleporter. I think that's like right by your ship now. Upon reaching the Insomniac Museum the first time through? Maybe? No? Okay then. But you can definitely access it any time by pushing the start button and selecting special and then shortcuts. That's that. And before I show off the other things, the other special things that are unlocked now, I'm going to return to where the mutant protopet is located, and then show off everything else from there. I feel that was good. That was real freaking good. Okay. This Megacorp Lab, Megacorp HQ. I think this is the one I want to take. Yep, it is. Perfect. Before we go and fight this thing, there are still some other things that I have to show off. I've shown off all the cheats in the last play session, and here's a list of all the skill points. All the skill points that we achieved throughout the entirety of the game. And again, you can always look these skill points up on game FAQs or other sites of the sort. That's where I got my list of all the skill points and platinum bolts, and where everything else was located in the game. The only exception, of course, being the nanotech boosters. I looked up a video walkthrough on that. And that's about it. And that's it. That's all the skill points. Now it's time to show off some random stuff. Clank's Day at Insomniac, Sheep Blaster, Sheepish Wars, paintings, and endorsement deals. Let's start with Clank's Day at Insomniac. Okay. 9 a.m. We arrived to work early in my vintage car. My smaller stature made it impossible for me to secure a license, so I let Ratchet drive. He seems to enjoy it. 9:10 a.m. At first I was afraid of Larry, the security guard, but he's a pleasant fellow once you get to know him. 9:15. My olfactory sensors detected a strange smell in the elevator. 9:20. Our front desk administrator, Demeyer, enjoys greeting the employees. Today I received the latest information on robot harassment in the workplace. Angela had a great laugh. I love to raggle her with my latest exploits. I try to leave out the parts that may be a bit off color. Oh, and there's Phil. Hard worker keeps to himself. 10:40. My price found a multiplication error in my account report. This is the second one this year. Need to check my math circuits. Also, someone just went live on Twitch, and that is Slim Kirby. Okay then, neat. No matter how many times I explain the effect of I don't even know how to say that. Carcinogens? I don't know. On the human anatomy, Dan refuses to give up that filthy habit. So he's talking about cigarettes, of course. The artist must be able to capture Ratchet's essence from every angle. This is his favorite part of the day, the big ham. Lunchtime. We get free lunch every Friday. Today, they were offering grease pudding. My favorite. Captain Quark has got game. After splitting his spandex on the shot, he also got a new suit. I never used the facilities when Argius is in there. Our testing department works tirelessly to find every bug in the game. I am unsure where they get their motivation. Ratchet can sometimes be overzealous when letting off a little steam. That wall had it coming anyway. The mathematician is attempting to multiply himself again. I need to subtract this image from my memory banks. Look, plumber's crack. Oh, yee. I slay me. Walters cast a magic missile, but he was blocked by my 6th level wizard's shield spell. Step off, Walter, step off. Angela and Abe started their exercise program today. Abe says he gets his best ideas when running, like that idea for solar-powered neck warmer. Well, that's it for today. The cleaning crew arrives to get our office ready for tomorrow. Good night. I really love it how these images are photoshopped with the actual Insomniac Games employees going about their daily lives and their daily work. I gotta say, this is really good Photoshop. Whoever did the Photoshop work on these really should get a raise. It's quite convincing for the most part. There are some oddities here and there because, well, hello, it is Photoshop after all. But hey, I'm just saying. Still looks very nice. Let's check out Sheep Blaster. So, as I said, most of these little minigames like Sheep Blaster are 2-player only minigames. However, you can play these by yourself if you so desire. And in order to play this minigame, you move with the left analog stick, push and hold the X button to fire, and I think the circle button, square button, and that's about it. Square, triangle, and circle, square, X, and circle all fire your weapon. And in order to just simply complete the minigame, just shoot out all the sheep and there you go, you beat the level. Aim for a high score, aim for as high of a score as you can. It doesn't mean that despite you clearing the level, I don't think the minigame itself has an ending, so there's really no reason to really play these minigames to like absolute completion. Also, yeah, there you go. I think the only way you can die is just simply running into a mine, which I think in later levels the mines will come at you faster and much greater numbers. And there we go. Alright, let's just call it a day there and show off some other random things. Let's try Sheepish Wars. Okay, so essentially this minigame is trying to shoot the other player into the middle of the black hole, and you use the X button to move forward, push either circle or square to fire. Dang it. I wonder how many wins this goes to. Again, you just have to you just have to shoot the other shape in order to win. Either that or make it so they go to the middle of the arena and they'll randomly explode. Fun little mini game to play with friends, but again, it is kind of a never-ending mini game. Let's check out the paintings now. Whew. I will say this, when viewing the paintings, there are quite a large number of them, and each painting reveals something that went into like the concept stages, I think, of the original going Commando. Oops. I need to let the text go all the way through first. as far as reading this text is concerned, I'm probably not going to be doing that. Just so that way I could save my sanity. But hey, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, you're free to just simply pause. But if we are watching this live, well, you better be good at reading stuff really, really quickly. Because it crawls extremely, extremely fast. Wow. Quite an interesting looking painting, that's for sure. Now let's check out the endorsement deals. Funny. Ratchet Clank cereal. And I love the little Insomniac Games logo on the top left hand corner. Hey, if Super Mario can get a cereal twice, why not Ratchet and Clank? Come on. Come on, Kellogg's. Anyone, any cereal making company out there, make a Ratchet and Clank cereal. It would be an interesting collector's piece nonetheless. Okay. Is that me, or is this trying to parody that one scene in Toy Story 2 where Buzz Lightyear walks into the Buzz Lightyear aisle in Al's Toy Barn? Perhaps. That, or it's just completely unrelated. Also, I don't know if that's a real 900 number. I may try calling it. You know what? Screw it. Let's go for it. 1-900 555 2255.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call can...
Okay, that's not a real number. I tried. Oh well. You thought it would be a... Oh, I don't know, something real? Like a secret hidden Easter egg hidden by Insomniac Games? Too bad. That's not real. Wow. Wow, my God. That's a lot of bolts. 4,640,000,000 bolts for that ship. Yeti Cola? I don't know. Ratchet Clank. I think that's supposed to be a parody of one of the Star Wars movies. As far as which one is concerned, it's definitely of the original trilogy. And as for which one, though, it might be parodying either The Empire Strikes Back or The Return of the Jedi. I'm not too sure which one, but either way, Star Wars parody right there, I think. And after that, we have the movies. Upon your initial playthrough, and upon beating the game once, you get access to all the cinematics in the game, and also the credit roll. Wonder what excitement is about.
We at Megacorp would like to congratulate you on your choice of the Commando-matic body armor and helmet combo. Now that you've had a chance to use it, we'd like to demonstrate some of its most important functions. The Commando-matic helmet provides several helpful readouts. This area shows your current and maximum nanotech units. Nanotech is your health, so make sure you don't run out. This is one nanotech unit. Your Commando-matic body armor allows you to increase your maximum nanotech significantly. To increase your nanotech, you must defeat enemies. When you defeat an enemy, it leaves behind nanomites. Your body armor absorbs the nanomites and stores them in this bar. When the bar fills up, you get an additional unit of nanotech. The tougher the enemy is, the more nanomites it provides. The Commando-matic helmet also helps you monitor your weaponry. This section shows the icon for your current weapon and the ammo you have left. If you defeat an enemy with a Megacorp weapon, that weapon will also absorb some of the nanomites left behind. This bar stores the nanomites for your selected weapon. Once it fills up, your weapon will upgrade. You can see the same bar for each weapon in your Quick Select menu and in your weapon screen. We hope you enjoy your Megacorp Commando-matic body armor and helmet. Be sure to visit your local Megacorp Weapons Emporium for the latest in destructive technology.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I never knew that cutscene even existed. Yet it's listed as like the very first cutscene in the game. And oddly enough, even when I began this playthrough, it never played. So I guess it's just there as like an extra scene if you wish to view it. Okay, any other cutscenes that we ended up missing? Let's see, doesn't look like it. I love the title, Why is Billy Sad? And I love the thumbnail even more. Okay, that's all the cinematics there. In the credits, you can just view the credit roll again if you happen to select it. Now it's time for the sketchbook. Wow, that was pretty cool. I gotta admit, it really was. Finally, we have 2 more videos to look at, making of and canceled commercials. Let's go for this one. What the hell is this? I can see why that particular commercial got canceled. It's weird AF.
This is the test of the mini rocket gun, the rocket launcher from Ratchet Clank Going Commando.
What? They didn't even time that right. Just a couple of canceled commercials. Guess they were in the planning stage of the commercials production, so that's probably why stick figures were used. And they probably didn't make it past like the concept stage. It's like, you know what, this is like a little too creepy and weird. and also contains a little bit too much of spoilers. So, yeah, canned. Alright, let's see how this game was made. Coming from the minds and the mouths of all the staff at Insomniac Games. Hello, Working Show Wario. Welcome to the stream. Wow, that was awesome. And that was the making of Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, and that's basically everything that this game has to offer. Excuse me. So, since I've shown off practically everything else in the entire game, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to completely finish things out. Let the credits roll one more time. Sure, we'll time warp when we're given the opportunity, but even so, I'm just saying, let's do this right. Might as well end this with like the most powerful OP weapon in the entire frickin' game. Completely wreck this frickin' protopet and send him straight to hell. Later, dude. And there we go. That's the game. The game is now officially 100% complete. I gotten all the skill points, gotten all the platinum bolts, I've shown off the Insomniac Museum, and shown off all the extra little mini games, as well as some concept art, and even shown the little extra videos that you can view if you choose to do so. And I've definitely learned quite a bit from this. Definitely learned quite a bit from this experience. 100%ing this game was not easy, let me tell you. And at times, it just wasn't any fun. But, hey, that's just something we kind of have to deal with occasionally. Sometimes we may end up running into those little itty-bitty blockades that make it so we're not having so much fun. But hey, that's with every game. Sometimes we'll be presented with really, really difficult challenges that we need to complete in order to progress further into the game, or just to get another tick on that check mark of 100% completion. And I think the hardest part of the game was definitely that wrench-only no-hit challenge back at the Nectar Nebula. Holy shit, that was an absolute nightmare. And upon beating that, oh my god, it was like a huge weight was lifted right off of my shoulders. It was that freaking awesome. And it felt that great. To be quite honest, I'm really glad that I was even able to finish that particular challenge and beat it without an issue. Well, I had plenty of issues, but without having to attempt to stream again and try to do it again, but I'm just saying. That particular challenge was like the hardest roadblock to pass, and to be quite honest, it was well worth it. It was worth it, it was fun. The game is now complete, and this playthrough is over. And since we're only about an hour and 37 minutes into this session, I think I may end up playing something else. As far as what, I'm probably going to end up changing systems. As for what I'm going to play next, that I still need to think about. I don't know if any ideas are popping into my head at the moment. Still love that message, by the way.
All right, fellas, nice and tight now.
And that's that. And of course, like it says here, you can do chance to go back in time before we defeat Quark or play the game in challenge mode. And technically, we're already in challenge mode, so there's no reason to reinitiate challenge mode, because doing so just simply restarts the game all over again and locks up practically everything else, which is unfortunate, but oh well, that's fine. But like I said, this playthrough is over. I've shown off everything that there is to show off in this game. Sure, I didn't get every single mega weapon, but either way, I did get most of them, about 99% of them. And I gotten all the skill points in the game, so really that's all that matters to me. I believe that does count for 100% completion, that is getting all the weapons and upgrading as many as possible. Granted, I didn't upgrade them all, but even so. Still had a great time playing through this game despite the rough edges here and there. And I definitely like this game more than the original Ratchet & Clank, that is for sure. Due to the innovation of which this game presented to us, such as the ability to strafe and flip around like crazy, the ability to upgrade our weapons to like an even greater weapon, and all of this is improved in the next game, which is Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. As far as when I'm going to be playing that game in the future, don't expect it this year. It may be a year or two before I play the next Ratchet & Clank game in the future, but if the next time I do return to this universe, it's going to be with Up Your Arsenal. And with that, I'm calling it a stream right here. And I'm going to think about what game I'm going to play as a bonus, just so we can at least play for a couple of hours more, stream a little longer, but I'm not 100% sure on what I'm going to play yet. As far as what I'm going to be streaming next, other than this little bonus stream that I'm going to do, the next playthrough that I'm going to be doing is Mario Kart 64. And that will be happening this weekend, this coming Saturday. And as far as when this particular stream is going to be uploaded, it'll be uploaded on Friday. And the bonus stream I think I'm going to upload for today. I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to do just that. This is General Snivy with the Ratchet & Clank Going Commando playthrough. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this live stream and you were able to attend live, thank you for attending. And yeah, I really love the game as well. Anywho, in the next playthrough, or this coming weekend, we're going to be starting a new game, Mario Kart 64. And I really am looking forward to playing through that game. Sure, there may be a couple of complications here and there, but still, I'm looking forward to the playthrough nonetheless. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all. Depending on when you're seeing this. If you're seeing this live, then I'll see you in a little bit for when we start the bonus stream. And if you're watching the YouTube version later, well then I'll see you all next time for the next game. See you all later, and for the sake of this stream, I'll see you all soon.